All right, Steve, you ready to start this? You want me to kick this thing off? You ready?
Sure, go ahead.
All right. Well, hey, first of all, I want to thank everyone for taking time out of your busy day to be here. I'm really excited about this call, and I'm really, really excited about what we're going to talk about because specifically, Life in Air, as you guys know, is something. It's a special community. Now, maybe you're on this line right now and you're a student. Maybe you're on the fringes. Maybe you're just in the app. Maybe you just are on our list and got an email, and so you have varying degrees of experience with Life in Air. But one of the things that, if I had to isolate one of the most important factors that has attributed to the success of all of the people associated with Life in Air at all of the varying levels of involvement has been community, right? And we know this. Like, so, if you're on a diet, you want to be and you benefit from being around people that are on a diet, right? You're not going to want to hang out with people that are eating pizza and drinking beer all the time. And life is just way more fun, exciting, fulfilling, and rewarding when you do it with other people. And that's, quite frankly, one of the secrets to, I'd say, Life in Air success. Even if you talk about our coaching program and the coaching program, we have these masterminds and people just pour into each other. And so this community effort of wanting to see other people succeed is one of the biggest assets, I think, that has been. And I'm not even. Steve is really the mastermind behind this, but even he, I think, would admit, like, this has been a huge blessing that we have just realized and benefited from, as well as all of you as well. And so it's just incredible to see the hearts of people to not only live their own vision, but to come alongside other people and help them live their vision. And Steve, you started that with the first coaching group.
Yes, and so I mean, to that point, when I first started Life and Air, I started it with a coaching group, and I did an event to teach the Life and Air principles. But some of you may never have heard the actual story as to how and why I started that first group. But the number one reason that I started that first group was so that I could actually surround myself with people that were living and experiencing an abundant life. And I was the one who was teaching them, but I was sort of in a vacuum by myself as I would just talk to people about it in my own world. They thought I was crazy. And so I literally started the first group with a selfish motive of I wanted to surround myself with people who, as I taught them, would be living it, and it would help to hold me accountable by being their mentor, their teacher, their coach in the midst of all of that. And it worked out beautifully. Now, early in the whole Life and Air planning process, I had this vision that one day there would be groups of Life and Airs meeting all across the country. The group that I had created, those people came from all around the country. They were not close to one another, and so one of the ways that that worked for us was to be able to get together regularly. We did have retreats multiple times throughout the year. We got on group phone calls regularly, at least once a month, so that we were always touching base with one another and holding each other accountable. But I knew that to have a group that maybe met on a local level and met regularly, where people could come and encourage one another and rub shoulders with one another, was something that was definitely in the future for Life and Air. Now, as we have been sharing the Life and Air message and teaching it, we've been approached many times, many, many times. I can't even begin to tell you how many times that people have come to us and said, I want to share it. I want to be able to bring Life and Air to my community. And we never did have a way. We were so busy trying to do all the other things that we never created a easy way or an easy button for people to be able to take the Life and Air message to where they live and to be able to share it with the people who they spent time with and within their own community. And that's what Life and Air Connect is all about. Life and Air Connect, we are working diligently to create the global community where people from all around the world, certainly all around the country, can come and be a part of what we're doing online, whether it's through the app or through the online desktop community. But we are really focused right now on giving those who have a passion for sharing the Life and Air message, giving them the tools and the resources they need and making it easy for them to be able to do that on a local level and to create their own groups. And so we have, I think these discussions started about 5 months ago. And we, or over the course of the last 5 months, we wanted to actually launch it around January 1st. We just weren't ready yet. We have been working really hard to put together all of the pieces. There are groups that have launched, and they have been serving sort of as a beta, helping us to determine, what do they need and how do we need to structure this and what do we need to put in place. And so, the idea that we had 5 months ago has changed significantly and multiple times in the last 5 months, but the whole idea was to just make it as simple and as easy as we can for all of you who want to be able to share the message and to give you the tools and the resources, and to do that in a way that we can really deliver it and give high value to your communities. And so that's sort of the idea behind Lifeonaire Connect. It was to create something that is simple for you to be able to share it in your local community. In addition to that, I'll just say that anybody can share it. I mean, anybody can go ahead and buy copies of the book, pass them out, and then sit down and have a group, that maybe meets in their living room and they talk about Lifeonaire. But what we're doing here with Lifeonaire Connect is for people who want to take it even one step further and maybe reach out. And we're actually creating a way that you can make money doing it. And so that instead of you being the coach, instead of you having to provide the education and the training all of the time, you would just really facilitate the bringing together of people, and we'll do the training, we'll provide the education, we will do that for you. But you're just really the person on the ground who's facilitating, bringing the people together and then getting us in front of them. And so we've been really working diligently to make that easy for you, and to just set you up to where you can actually create a business around this if that's what you desire to do. So,
well, I think that's it's really cool, and I love what you said there, Steve. It's like, you can anybody can share this, and likely you've probably already shared it with some people. Like maybe they've asked you what's happened in your life and you've shared it, or you've read the book and it's impacted you. And this is really a leveled up way to do it, in a way that, quite frankly, if you've read the emails, you've heard me use this term, do good and do well. And so you're doing good by impacting and transforming, being a part of that transformation of somebody else's life, stepping in as a hero to them of sorts, but also you're doing well by also making some financial reward from it as well, experiencing that. And so it's a win for that person. It's a win for you. It's a win for Lifeonaire, because now another person has heard the message and becomes another ambassador for us. And so it's this really incredible thing. So Jackie Kunkel on the line right here is heading up Lifeonaire Connect, and she's the person who's really facilitating, communicating with, and guiding what we're calling our Lifeonaire Connect leaders. Jackie, why don't you just introduce yourself and tell people a little bit about what's been going on with Connect, and how just a little bit more of how this whole thing is organized.
Yeah. So in the beginning, it was we brought a lot of people together, and we found a couple of people who would launch and kind of be the catalyst, if you will, the beta testers. They're the ones who have gone through the trenches with us and come back and said, okay, we need this. All right, we used that. Now we need this. And so I feel like, and you guys can chime in, but I feel like we have tweaked it to the point where we have a really solid foundation. That's why we brought it to the main community now. And a couple of groups have already launched and had their first meeting and things like that. I see Sarah George is on the line, and maybe she'd be willing to chime in. Tim Porterfield already had kind of like a RIA group. He had a real estate meetup, if you will, that he is slowly converting into a Lifeonaire Connect group. So he's introduced, alongside of his real estate training, he's introduced the Lifeonaire book to his group and gotten a good foundation with that. Yes, Steve?
Correct. That's Tim Davis.
Yeah, that's Tim Davis. Oh, I appreciate it, Jackie.
Porterfield, thanks for the accolades.
I happen to be looking at Tim Porterfield's picture right as I was saying it, and Tim Davis is not on the call. I'm going to do that again. But Sarah Georgia wasn't lying. Sarah and her husband, Jonathan, and I know Jonathan's at work right now. But again, just a heart to serve, a heart to share. And, that's probably what brought all of you to the line, regardless of what your interaction with Lifeonaire has been at this point. I see people who I know are just in the app. I see people who I know are as far up as titanium level coaching students and everything in between. But when people get this message, and I think I mentioned it on the recording that we did to kind of introduce this call, but I mean, I had a guy that I just gave the book to, and he called me back. He's like, I'm going to be a Lifeonaire. I want to be a Lifeonaire, and I'm going to tell everybody about this. What do I got to do? And I was like, wow, that was, all he did was read the book. So as we're putting this thing in people's hands and they want to grow, it's a really great opportunity to come alongside them, create your own local community, be that voice that shares this. Again, if that's your heart and if that's your vision. I know Lynn's on the call. We can't see her picture because her camera is having issues lately. But she can probably unmute herself. But, she came to me and said, this is something that I really want to do. And so it was looking at the vision and saying, okay, she has a very delineated vision, and many of you also do. And some of you are still at the beginning of like figuring out what is that vision you have. But where does it fit in? How does it fit in? Some of you are looking for some extra income. Some of you are looking to replace a job, and I think Connect offers the ability to run alongside with your vision if it fits, if this is part of it, and also create an income. So she just chatted, yeah, no video yet, but one day we'll get to see Lynn again. So what it has is it has launched. It's an opportunity. If any of you've ever been to a real estate investors association, that type of a group, or like a more organized meetup, we're kind of operating it like that, where we're bringing people in. They can come in as guests to the meeting and get the information, and then they can decide to level up, right? They can get more information. They can become more involved with different levels of membership. All the way up to what we're calling Platinum Connect, which gets them the opportunity to go to our Get a Life Vision workshop, invite others to come to that workshop. They get in on all of our insider calls. They can take a look at all the call archives. I mean, there's just no end to the opportunity. And as we grow this locally, regionally, nationally, virtually, and in person, there's just more and more people that you can kind of rise together with, right? All the books that you've read tell you that you become the average of the 5 people you hang out with the most, so that's true in finances, ethics, everything, right? Everything that you do, your weight, the way you speak. It's all about who you hang around with. And so you start to be able to create that for yourself, and you can bring others up along with you. It keeps you accountable to your own vision, as well as helping others do, and just introducing something they might not have ever heard of before, right? Like the first time each of you ever heard of Lifeonaire, it's kind of just this different world that opens up, and it sends you in a different way of thinking. Unfortunately, it's the people the closest to us that probably aren't going to come for the ride, but you can create a whole new family. How about that? So I don't know, Sarah, are you able to chime in on what your first meeting was like and what your background and experience was coming into this? I'm throwing her on the spot, so we'll see if she can chime in.
Sure, that's fine. Yeah. So I would say we were pretty excited with the results of our first meeting. We weren't really sure that we were going to get a whole lot of people in the room, just because we hadn't done a ton of advertising. John created a Facebook group for our Lifeonaire Connect, and we put it out on Lifeonaire's app, and a little bit of word of mouth. And we had 13 people, which was pretty exciting for us, considering what we felt like is that we hadn't done a ton of advertising yet. So we're hoping to build some relationships with some of our local RIAs, and maybe, hoping that they'll allow us to share about our group there. Also the Meetup app, right, Jackie? What is it? Meetup Pro.
Right.
That will end up probably advertising.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll probably end up advertising through that also. So yeah, I don't know if you have any other questions. Not sure what you want me to share.
Well, I was also just thinking, because a lot of people think, oh my gosh, I have to be a public speaker, or I have to put together a program, I have to know, all this stuff. So maybe just a quick snippet of your background, because I know you guys felt the same way. So your background and how it ended up, making it easier for you. I don't know where you went. I just lost you, but you're on here somewhere.
Oh.
Oh, there you are. That's you turned your video on. You moved.
Yeah.
The Brady Bunch.
It's not very much fun to not see someone's face when they're talking. So I'll be humble and show my face.
So just a little bit of your background and your fears and how they turned out, I guess.
Okay. So being that we were thinking that a lot of people would probably be coming to the group looking for real estate help, pretty much everybody who came already knew that they wanted out of the traditional W-2 kind of job, wants more time with their family. We didn't need to convince them or talk to them about that. They came in the room wanting that. And most of them are thinking that some type of real estate or storage. And so that was one of our big apprehensions, because John and I haven't done a single deal ever. So we've been in Lifeonaire for a year, but we're sold out on the Lifeonaire mindset. It's changed. Yeah, I would say just our biggest change is our mindset and having a vision. And we haven't moved forward in any real estate. So we were like, who are we to start a group where people are going to be wanting to come in with real estate help? And so we took a leap of faith. We're pretty hungry to get out of our normal W-2 type jobs. So we decided to take a leap of faith, and we knew that we had, that Jackie had our back. And so that was reassuring, and that they were going to be putting out the material. So they were making videos for us. So we didn't have to teach the topics. That once we figured out, we're facilitators. John is a great people person. He can talk to anybody. He can come up with something to talk to anybody about. And so knowing that that was John's personality, and all he had to do was facilitate conversation. And so we're sharing the videos, we're going to share the teaching videos that Steve or Wojo or Jackie or whoever is going to put together. We're going to pull from the library of videos that we feel that our group is going to be interested in and what they're looking for. And then we're going to facilitate relationships and group discussions. And people are naturally networking in the room. Like, you don't have to facilitate that. They just naturally did that right away. So.
Excellent. I just remember right before their meeting, they're like, we're hopeful that 2 people show up. And they're like, 13 people showed up and we don't even know them. We don't know how they all ended up in our room. And you guys are doing it out of a free room at your church that you were able to secure. So even, cooler is, so far, all of your advertising has been free. And your location is also free. So there's a lot of ways to do this without a big budget.
And so I want to just point out one of the things that Sarah had just brought up, that Jackie had her back. Jackie was in their corner. And one of the things that we've done is we've developed a community of the Connect leaders. And so they are regularly getting together with calls to help one another and encourage one another, and sharing ideas with one another as to how to get the message out there and how to reach new people. And most people are starting out with a bunch of books, and then they're just going out and passing the books out to people that they know, and then saying, read it, and then let's talk about it. And it's leading to some great conversations. And so there's multiple ways, but they're all coming up with different ideas, and those ideas are being shared amongst the Connect leader community, and they're just working together to build the best groups that they can build.
And so let me jump on that too, Steve, because in addition to this community of Lifeonaire Connect leaders, Sarah mentioned some things like, hey, we're going to show the videos, and some of you right now are like, what are you talking about? What videos? Well, what we are trying to do here and as Steve mentioned earlier, we're spending a lot of time putting the time and effort into this, is we want this to be as DFY as absolutely possible, which means most of these groups are going to be, it's going to be a regularly occurring meeting, is set up on your schedule, however frequently you want it. I think most people are probably going to do once a month, but that's totally up to you. And we are putting together content that you will be able to share with your group. So you don't have to come up with the content every meeting. It's literally, hey, here's our library of topics. This sounds great. And I've had some people ask me about this. So let's watch this one. And you can simply play it and then facilitate discussions around those topics. Also, you have the flexibility and the freedom. This is your group. So you can say like, hey, no, you know what, we're going to go in this order, or we're going to choose this, or you know what, we're going to have somebody who's a local business owner who is going to share these principles with our group that they've expressed an interest in. So you can substitute, switch, move things around. You can do it as however you want to do it. But our whole objective here is to make this as easy as, and push the button, and it's done. Like, we want it to be easy for you, because we know a lot of you, like, that's one of the things, like, I've owned a RIA, Steve's owned a RIA, Jackie owns a RIA. Programming, figuring out who's going to speak when, is one of the biggest hassles, right? That's one of the biggest stressful parts of running a group. And so we're taking that away. We're taking that off your plate so that you have an assortment. And it's kind of like an a la carte menu where you can pick things that you want. And guess what? This is real-time responsive. So say Laura starts a group and she's like, hey, my people have asked me for this. And I talked with Steve. I'm like, Steve, we don't have that. He's like, well, let's do it. Let's film it. I talked to Jackie. Let's put it together. Let's make it. And so we turn around, we have it ready for you. And so it's really kind of a plug and play model that we're looking to fulfill here on behalf of the Connect leaders. But with that, you also have the freedom to do as you'd like.
Yeah. So to Jason's point, it is your group, and you can build it however you want. It can be small, it can be large. You can turn it into a full-blown business. You can treat it like a hobby. It could be a part-time income. Completely up to you. And our whole goal is to just make the resources available so that you have the ability to be able to go out and share, and you can turn it into as big or small as you want to turn it into. It's completely up to you.
So one other thing I want to, Jackie, you kind of brought this up before. One of the other things, I've had some conversations with people. Jackie, you mentioned one of these, like, well, hey, I'm not the person that speaks at the front of the room. If you're somebody, maybe you're an introvert, maybe you are not someone who's super outgoing, maybe you're somebody who's not an eloquent or public speaker, maybe you are, whatever. This is for anybody really who has a couple things. If I had to say a couple things that are good qualifying traits that you would ask yourself, like, number one, do you want help along the journey for yourself? Because that's the accountability that's going to be built in when you have people around you that are on a similar path. Number two, do you enjoy seeing other people succeed and you want to be part of that journey, and that's rewarding and fulfilling to you? And then thirdly, like, is this something that fits your vision? Actually, four things. It fits your vision. And then fourthly, like, it would be beneficial to you and you'd enjoy making an income from it as well. And like, if that's you, this is I think could be a great fit.
I just like the word fourthly. I'm gonna look that up later.
I figured Jason always likes to use different things, and when he said DFY, I'm gonna guess there's probably
done for you.
Done for you, yeah. Sorry,
done for you. But in other words, we're gonna try to make it as easy for you, so much of what you need is already done, and you really just will be the person who's facilitating the meeting, talking about it, meeting with people, and encouraging them to participate. You
don't have to be super far along your journey. Your life doesn't have to look perfect. You don't have to be living the dream, right? You don't have to be on a beach somewhere 9 months a year. Like, that's not, forget that. Like, if that's an objection for you, like, let go of that. Because that is not something that has to be true. You're on this journey just like everyone else is, just like I am, just like we all are, right? And so if you're like, oh, I'm not far enough along, or I haven't, I don't have a whatever, I'm not making all this money in my business, and I don't, that's okay. That's okay. You're on the journey. It's where you are and where you're going, right? It's not that you've arrived.
Well, and that's exactly some of the things that I have told some of the people who have wanted to be coaches. And I said, here's the difference. I said, none of us ever fully arrives. The question is, are you on the right path? And if you're on the right path, you can lead others down that path. And that's sort of what, we're looking for here, is if you are pursuing this and you're going down that path, you're fully capable of leading others down the same path. And it helps you when you're doing that. So I wanted to just throw out just a couple of other things to give some consideration to. There's a few people who are starting up their local group with the intentions of actually being a coach in their local area. So that's one of the reasons why they want this group. They see this group as ultimately being the people it's their feeder system for their coaching program. We have people who want to do this and piggyback off of a larger real estate investing association. So a RIA that might exist, that they might have like a cash flow night where they get together and play games, and it's sort of like a subgroup. Well, the Lifeonaire Connect group might be a subgroup of a local real estate investor association. And so that's another possibility. And then for others, they just want a small group. They just want to get together and meet with people on a regular basis. And there's actually one person right now who is speaking of just turning this into a big RIA. They want their group to be the RIA in the area, and so it's not just a subgroup, but they want to be a big one. So I share that with you just to say this is something that you're free to build however you want. We have one person who wants to do it virtually. I think that might be a little bit of a challenge, but they want to do it virtually. We have a person who wants to bring this not to real estate investors. They want to bring this to the dental community, to dentists, which is where they have experience and they have contacts. And so, again, I'm just sharing that with you just to say you're fully autonomous. It's your group. And our goal is to just give you valuable resources and education and everything that you can share. That's all Lifeonaire principle centric teaching, and you can bring that Lifeonaire message to the community that you desire to bring it to.
Yeah, and I'll piggyback on that. Two more things. We do have a Lifeonaire Connect leader who just joined, who is a member of a mega church in his area and is looking at trying to come alongside the church and offer this as a marketplace ministry. So like one of the small group breakouts of the church as well. So bringing Lifeonaire principles to that group. And the other side of things too is if you did see this as a bigger business, like the one that wants to make this the big RIA in the area, there's also the opportunity that your Connect group has subgroups, right? So there could be a breakout where you have a leader who is talking about marriages or is talking about, divorces and broken families and mixed families. And maybe there's the drug and alcohol recovery subgroup, where you're rising up leaders and bringing people to healing through that. So there's all the different Lifeonaire subgroups too, right? And all the different breakouts, because it's certainly not all about money, and it's not just about our investments and where we grow that side of our life, but there's the spiritual side, the friends, the family, the fun, and then the healing and recovery in different aspects of our life. So if you had the intention of building a larger group, once you have that, you could also have those spin-off subgroups, which I look at as, the main Lifeonaire Connect group being the church and the subgroups being the small groups that break out, right? So kind of the same thing where your Connect group is your bigger church, if you will. But that's how I always imagine it. So those are two other ideas.
So before we go further, and really to honor everyone's time, if there's anyone who, if you're thinking, hey, I'm interested in this and I want to know more, you can reach out to Jackie and talk with her about it. She'll jump on the phone, answer whatever questions you have. We want to be able to answer some of your questions here today as well. So any questions that you might have, we want to begin to take some of those. But we want to encourage you, reach out to her. Now, if you're not interested in doing this from the perspective of, hey, I want to run it as a business or something like that, you just want to share the message, we encourage that too. We want people, we love it when people share the Lifeonaire message. I don't know how many of you know much about books and book sales and how books sell through traditional channels like bookstores and Amazon and things like that. Some interesting facts that I'll just share with you, just so you can know and understand the impact that Lifeonaire is really starting to have. Only 1 in 1,000 books ever sells 1,000 copies. So for every 1,000 books that's published, only one of them sells 1,000 copies. Only, and you can take that number, 1 in 10,000 books that are published actually sells 10,000 copies. 9,999 of them don't ever make it to the 10,000 copy mark. And I can tell you that in just the last 4 months, Lifeonaire, through traditional channels, not through Lifeonaire on our own efforts, but through traditional channels, we have sold over 3,000 books in just the last 4 months. It is a book that is just continuing to sell. It is all through word of mouth. We have, up until recently, I had never done a PR campaign. I've been on many radio stations, and in the last few months, I think I've been on 20 different radio stations and television shows. I just got booked to do a television interview with a TV station that has 35 channels across the country, and so I'm going to be doing that sometime soon. So we're out there continuously promoting the book, and the message is getting out there more and more. But I wanted you to just know that the book is continuing to sell, and it is word of mouth, and it is people who are sharing it. And we love the fact that people are out there sharing it and telling people that, hey, this is a book that you need to read. Now, having said that, the reason I was bringing that up is if that's all you want to do, great. If you do want to be on the side of this where, hey, I want to make money with sharing something that I love and something that I'm passionate about, then you do have to have that discussion with Jackie and get signed up as a Connect leader so we can get everything set up right in the system. You'll have access to all of the resources that we're giving you, and there, without me getting bogged down in the details, there's links that you get that track everything that you would ever send to Lifeonaire, and you would be able to collect commissions on everything that ever came in from your people. So that discussion would need to take place if you want to go down that path.
And there's also the opportunity that you could find other Lifeonaires in your area, and maybe you want to partner up. There's the opportunity to partner with someone else and sharing the responsibilities of building the group, or however you want to do it. So if you're thinking, oh, I want to do this, but I don't want to be 100% of the thing, well, go into the app and see who's in your area and reach out and say, hey, does anyone want to come alongside me and do this together? So I know that's one of the things that I talked with Lynn about, is potentially partnering with other Lifeonaires in the area in sharing in what it is, only because her vision is all kinds of travel. So I'm like, are you even going to be in town when you have a meeting? Because you could be on plane somewhere at that point. So partnering just makes sense so that it fits better into the exact vision. So just another idea.
Yeah, I just wanted to piggyback off that, Jackie. Absolutely. I was going to mention, we visited my vision, and yeah, travel is definitely a high point there. And so, but really want to share the message. I'm a believer and I want to be accountable. There's just so many perks to it. So again, just encouraging thinking outside the box, like you gave me the thought of sharing it and reaching out, which I have been doing. So I'm excited about that possibility. I didn't shut it down just because of my travel. Be able to share if I'm out of town 1 month, my partner can pick that up. So that all works. Thank you for that concept.
Of course. Good job.
All right, well, we're going to end up wrapping this call up here within the next 15 minutes. So we'll be able to take a handful of questions if anybody has any, and any other questions you'll be able to direct to Jackie. So is there anyone that has any questions? We got Matthew Guy, who's asking if there's anyone else from the Baltimore, DC metro area, and Tim Porterfield is from the Baltimore Metro DC area. Steve Eastwood is.
Who was asking that, Steve?
Matthew Guy. Any relation to Ron Guy?
Yes, I'll bet you. Son?
Yup, son. Hey,
Give me a call. Give me a call, Matt. You got my
yeah.
number. don't
All
you?
right, Timmy. I knew you were. I was wondering if anybody else was. What was the other name?
Steve Eastwood.
Thank you.
Well, Matthew, tell your dad I said hello. It's been a long time.
He saw it. He saw the Lifeonaire book in my Kindle, and he started reading it. So he's been enjoying it.
Did he really? Okay.
Yep.
So while we're
awesome.
here, if Steve Eastwood is online, you want to share a phone number with us, let us know.
Yeah, or you can put it in the chat.
Yeah.
Anyone from the Louisville, Kentucky area? I think I saw an Eric on here, but I don't know if that was Eric George. But if it was, he's from Louisville, Kentucky. Anybody else from Louisville, Kentucky?
I don't know of anybody that we have in our group that's been asking about Louisville. But we can always reach out in the app. And Kathy asked about the cost, and there is an investment. I don't know, Wojo, do you want to cover it and everything that's included? Otherwise, I can pull it up on my other screen.
Yeah, I don't have the exact information in front of me. Essentially, what there is, Kathy, is I'm glad you asked, is there is a nominal investment on behalf of the Lifeonaire Connect leader that includes the resources that we feel would be helpful for them to be successful when they start up their group. So, for instance, it includes I believe a case of Lifeonaire books, like a dozen, 10 or 12 or something like that, Lifeonaire t-shirts. It includes free tickets for our Get a Life getaway. It includes, you know, a lot of things that will help that Connect leader get off the ground and be successful, because the last thing we want is somebody to struggle with this. And so what we put together, what we believe, we call it our Pro Connect pack, which is kind of a starter, your starter kit for your group. So there is a nominal investment for that. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but that is something that would be, I don't know if we required it, or I know we strongly recommend that it might be required.
Let me just, I mean, I'm almost embarrassed to say that I don't know, but I think I know. The price is $1,497, and what we're doing is discounting it to $997 for everyone who gets involved now. But it's more than that worth of materials that we're giving you just to get started with. So that's really mostly just to cover our costs. You also get, when you first start out, to your charter members, you get to offer them discounts to get maybe the first 10 people to sign up for your group and really get them plugged in. You get to give away 10 free tickets. You get the case of books. You get the study guide, so you can have something to facilitate meetings with. You get t-shirts. So there's quite a bit of stuff in that package. But the discount on that right now is $997 for anybody who wants to do that. And then that gets you in as a Connect leader. That gets you access to the Connect group. That gets you all the links so that you can collect commissions and everything else moving forward. But just even the 10 tickets to a Lifeonaire event, you're able to sell those, you're able to give them away. It's completely up to you.
So if you sell them, you recoup back more than what you paid, just by selling those tickets. And yeah, it is, you were right with the prices. I pulled it up on my screen, and it is required if you want to earn commissions. I mean, because that's what gets you your affiliate link. It gets you access to the video library and all the documents and the marketing and your own group inside of the app. If you want to start a group, you're more than welcome to do that. You know, anybody, like we said at the beginning, anybody can get together in their home or hand out books or do whatever. This just gives you the starter pack and the access to the affiliate links and everything else.
All right, so one thing that I want to clarify, because it's a little confusing as you're talking, Jackie, and Kathy asked the question, you know, what is required? Basically, what's required is that you sign up for this package in order to be able to run the group and collect the commission. So to give some clarity to that. Brad, you were asking, is there a reason or philosophy around charging individuals to be a part of this community? You don't need to charge them to be a part of the community. So in other words, you can have your meeting and they can come to your meetings for free, or they can, if you want to charge a door fee for each one of your meetings, you can do that. What this is, what they would be signing up for is getting in deeper into Lifeonaire, getting access to all the education. They will get courses, they will get the home study course, they'll get tickets to the events, they'll get the debt-free investing. So when they become a Connect member as part of the Lifeonaire community, they get all kinds of stuff that comes with it. If they just want to come and you're good with it, they just want to show up at your meetings and just participate in the meeting. If you charge a door fee, great. Or maybe your meeting is free, that's completely up to you. But it's sort of like if you've participated in a RIA meeting or a Real Estate Investor Association meeting, members walk in the door for free. If you're not a member, you pay 20 bucks at the door. If there is education and you want to get deeper involved, you buy that education when you're at the meeting. So if you can maybe look at it from that perspective, they get to choose how deep they want to come in.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And if if you have a free location, you might not need to charge a door fee. But, when you're paying for hotels and service fees and gratuities, I mean, my RIA is very expensive just to have the room, and provide a little bit of pizza for people. It costs quite a bit of money. And if I don't charge a door fee, and then it just keeps coming out of my pocket, which, at some point, I mean, it's fine for a while, but at some point it's like, well, holy cow, right? I need to charge a door fee. And the members get to come for free because they paid for an annual membership, and then they get all the other discount or benefits and discounts as well for being members. But then, when we have someone come in that has extra education or a workshop, then they charge extra. Members get a discount from that. And the guests pay full price, and then there could be a certain membership where those things are included for free, just depending on their membership level. So kind of the same.
Cool. So Clark asked the question, how long is the introductory offer? Clark, this is going to expire at the end of this month. And we're actually going to close the doors for a while because all the people who do sign up right now, it's a lot of work on Jackie's part to help get them up and running. So we will get them up and running, and it could be 4 months or 6 months before we actually bring more people in. We don't want Jackie getting a bunch of people starting out with them, and then 3 months later, somebody is at the very beginning again. And so if we can bring people in phases, every 4 months or every 6 months to help get them up and running, she can sort of go through that same program rather than starting from day one with every person as it happens. So that offer is through the end of this month. And Gary, yes, we were talking about the gold and the platinum. Those are Connect membership levels. Jackie can talk more about that. I don't want to bring that up, but really it's the whole idea is there are two products that you would be marketing to people. One is the Gold Connect membership, the other is a Platinum membership. We tried to make it very simple to where they don't even want to buy a ticket to one of our events. They're better off buying Gold, which it's cheaper for them to become a Gold member and get the ticket and everything else. So we're also giving anyone who is a Connect leader a competitive advantage over a Lifeonaire. You're going to be able to sell it for less than we sell it for. So that way, they're not going to come around you to purchase it from us. They can actually buy it from you for less.
Well,
who wants to run one of these groups is a strong salesperson, and you get to say, just buy it from me, it's cheaper.
Yep. Well, I know we're kind of running out of time here, and so tell you what, let's do this. I'm going to put Jackie's email in the chat. It's just Jackie, JACCI @lifeonaire.com. If this sounds like something you'd like to learn more about, or perhaps maybe investigate further to see if it's a good fit, Jackie's the person to reach out to about that. And for the right person, I think this is a great opportunity. It's a lot of fun. It's gonna help you as well on your own journey. And it's really pretty straightforward as to what's gonna be involved. And we're here, you're here to come under the Lifeonaire wing, and we're gonna kind of shepherd you and walk you along this path and help you kind of be successful in your groups. And you have the autonomy, it's your group, but we're gonna really do our best to support you throughout those efforts as you get to now share the message with other people and be rewarded for it. So let's wrap it up, guys. Thank you for being on the line. Jackie at lifeonaire.com. And then hopefully we'll be seeing some of you guys in the Lifeonaire Connect group here very soon.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks. We'll see you.
Great thing.